On Monday, the U.S. Department of Defense released a memo outlining an initiative in the Department of the Navy that will promote diversity, equality, and inclusion in its policies, its programs, and its operations. Equality, equal opportunity, and diversity, the memo states, are, quote, critical to the readiness of our Navy and Marine Corps teams and ultimately to our mission success. Now, obviously, all of that sounds well, but there's more going into our nation's military under the Biden administration, and a big portion of it is tied to critical race theory. Joining me now to talk more about this, Congressman Chip Roy, who represents the 21st District of Texas. He serves on the House Judiciary Committee and the Veteran Affairs Committee. Congressman, welcome back to the program.
Hey, Tony, good to be on the show. Hope you're doing well as we head into this Memorial Day weekend, and remember all those that fought and died for this country, and just appreciate what you do very much.
Well, thank you, Chip, and very timely to have this conversation when we think of the sacrifice that men and women have made to secure these freedoms. But I want to start first. Now, as we're focused on the military, you've also been leading an effort when it comes to the classrooms, because our children are being indoctrinated with this Marxist theory as well, and you're moving to block the funding of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to be partnering with Dan Bishop from North Carolina, Mark Green from Tennessee, who are leading the fight to ensure we get critical race theory out of the Defense Department and all of this political correctness, rather than just making sure we've got men and women who are trained and that they can blow things up and kill people when we need them to. What we need is an education system that will teach our kids reading, writing, arithmetic, and that our country's great. And instead, they're teaching our country that America's evil. They're trying to indoctrinate our children with divisive racial rhetoric and to teach them that their race is evil or that they should be apologetic for being white, and books that talk about how to, avoid dealing with their whiteness. So I introduced a bill, H.R. 3163, the Combating Racist Teaching Act, so that we can prohibit a single federal dollar from going to any school, K through graduate school, that teaches any of this garbage to our kids, that is indoctrinating their minds. Here's a couple of examples, Tony. In Evanston, Illinois, students listened to Not My Idea, a book about whiteness, which states that whiteness is a bad deal and always was, and that you can be white without signing onto whiteness. There are thousands of these examples across our country, and we need to root it out.
So, Congressman, what do you think is behind the left pushing this? I mean, this is a top priority. I mean, there's many priorities from the Biden administration, but this is certainly one they're pushing, not only in education, but as we talked about in the military. Why?
This is all about advancing the Marxist ideology. This is all about using this as a way to control the mindsets of Americans. Look, if you can break the back of the entrepreneurial spirit, the small businesses of our country, the ability of the American people to want to rise up and pull themselves up and believe in what they can achieve, then you can then have the tyranny and the control of government over the minds of man, which, of course, Thomas Jefferson and our founders, fought hard against. Look, I'm a proud Texan, family back to the 1850s. But I went to high school in Loudoun County, Virginia, and an advisory board linked to the Virginia, in the state of Virginia, Loudoun County's public school district. They demanded that teachers be dismissed if they criticized the district's equity training inspired by critical race theory. All of this stuff is going to control. It's not going to make your child believe in him or herself, or for sure to believe in God, but rather to believe in the state, to believe that they can follow the rules given to them, granted by a higher authority in government rather than our God and our Creator. And they want to do that in order to be able to have control and power. People say, "Wow, no, you're crazy. That's nonsense." No, that's exactly what it's about, right? That's go look at the all of the materials that go into critical race theory and what it's about. It's about advancing the Marxist ideology, which is all about authoritarian governments having control over our freedoms.
Congressman Chip Roy, final question for you. Are you encouraged by what you see happening as parents become aware of what is taking place in our public schools? They're pushing back on this critical race theory?
I am. We saw a lot of movement here in Texas. We saw a school board flip here in Hays County, Texas, where I live, just outside of Austin. We saw it in a few other locations throughout the state. I've seen it nationwide. Parents that are now with the veil lifted. Now, look, COVID was a terrible thing with respect to small businesses and our government's overreaction and all of the masks and all the fear and closing down of businesses. But one upside is that the veil has been lifted on a corrupt and corrosive education system. And now the American people know it. and they're either going to demand the flexibility to take their dollars and go avail themselves of homeschooling or private schools, or they're going to demand reform, forcing school boards to have to act and to answer questions about why they are littering our children's minds with this garbage. We should be teaching children that God exists, God is real, our country is great, freedom is important, we should help each other out, but government shouldn't be telling us what to do, that freedom ultimately is our ability to be able to succeed and to have the great prosperity we've had in this country as a result. And so that's what we should be teaching our children, and hopefully we'll be doing that again soon.
Yeah, a lot hinges on the outcome of this initiative to stop critical race theory. Congressman Chip Roy, thanks for leading that effort, and thanks for joining us today.
Absolutely, Tony.